What are you a slave to?
Oh, that is a good question.
I'm a slave to
Absolutely nothing.
corporate life.
Women and pints. So, like, I probably like drinking too much. The wants and needs in life, I guess.
Is that a good thing?
It can be
When is it bad?
when your desires are not off kilter.
If everyone just followed what they wanted, would the world be a good place?
I don't think so, no. Because people are selfish.
Because there are a lot of people who are greedy and want power, and that doesn't suit a good world.
Is there a best alternative to people being a slave to their own desires?
That's something I find myself thinking about every day, because having lived out of the country for 30 years, looking at the UK politics, taxation, it is a minefield. And I mean, if I was perhaps 10 or 20 years younger, I would get into politics, because I've run businesses of varied sizes. And in that you learn it's not just about making a profit, it's about educating and empowering the people that come on the journey with you. And I think today's politicians across the world are lost. They're following a power trip, and they haven't got a grasp on reality. And yeah, I don't vote either way, but what's happening now I just think is an absolute disaster.
Where have you come where is these questions actually originated from yourself? Something that's quite specific to you? Is it religious, or is it political, or is it...
Yeah, start out from religious.
Kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, well, they got a lot of religions based on that too, right? It tries to teach you your morals. And
Do you think religion is dying?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think any kind of hardline stuff is probably well and truly gone. At the end of the day, it's a couple of thousand years old. The world's changed, and it just needs to evolve like the rest of us all has, you know.
Honestly, I'm a slave to NatWest.
When you say you're a slave to NatWest, does that mean you're a slave to money?
Yeah, I think everyone's a slave to money. Think about what can you do without money? You can't buy food, you can't drink anything, you can't have shelter.
But that doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your morals to get money, though.
Oh, you don't have to sacrifice your morals. You don't have to do anything illegal.
So then are you a slave to it?
To an extent.
Would you say that you'd be willing to kill a person for a certain price?
No.
Would you kill for £1 billion?
Don't know.
No. Why? I do not think that monetary value can be compared to the intrinsically valuable human life.
I'll punch somebody for 99p. Obviously, it's a joke. I'll punch somebody for 99p.
Corporate life, women and pints.
I think it's primarily corporate life, and then after that it's women and pints.
Is that a good thing?
It's not a great thing, to be honest, man.
Why?
London's pretty fucking hard, especially as an Irishman.
Yeah, it's expensive here.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it's a trade-off, right? So I've been here 8 years now. I love it in a lot of ways, but also there's part of me every month that I'm like, do you know what, I'd love to go back home.
What's your least favourite thing about London?
The people are really ignorant.
I'd agree. Yeah.
I think a lot of people will walk past you. Like, for example, we came past here today and we were like, oh, guys did a 1 minute podcast. Let's have a chat with them. I don't think London people would do that.
1 minute podcast. Anyone got 1 minute to speak?
What's your name?
Sharon.
Sharon, would you like to talk?
No, honestly, I don't.
You don't? Okay, no worries.
I see you on it. Just one question. One question.
But then, if people believe that it came from God, then how can something that came from an all-knowing source, how can it need to evolve?
It don't need to evolve, because I mean, I guess God's in everyone, right? So I think if it's coming from God, it's God's bit in everywhere. So if it's going to evolve, it's going to evolve with humanity. And I think when you've got a general populace that's got a kind of way of thinking, then that's evolution, right?
Is it important that young people vote?
I think so, because there's got to be a new youth coming into politics, coming into having a voice for the country as a whole.
Because you know something I've been thinking about? I don't think many young people vote at all. So when all the older generation are gone, how does democracy work?
Exactly, and it's going to be a disaster. You know, I have a 17-year-old son, love him, proud of him, but I feel sorry for his generation, because it's going to be extremely difficult.
I think time and the future of what's going to happen next, in terms of like when you hit a certain age in life.
I feel like you feel like milestones are just ahead of you. So you get married, and then the next thing is when you're gonna have kids, and the next thing is when you're gonna buy a house, and the next thing is like when you're gonna get a car, and all of these things. So I feel like slave to certain milestones at the minute in life.
Would you say that's because other people's expectations set that?
I think a combination, my own expectations and society and other people. Like it's a combination. I think it's a combination of just the society we live in and where we're at the minute. To be honest with you, I think you just see it everywhere: social media, family, friends. It's like when you get older, everything's about when you're having kids, when you're buying a house, when you're doing this, when you're doing that. It's milestones, 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 and not really enjoying like the moment to moment as much anyway.
So I'm assuming that you think it's a bad thing that you're a slave to time.
Yeah, no, I think you need something to push you forward. So like having these milestones isn't a bad thing in that, like, you know, you want to start a family eventually, you want to do things eventually, that's fine. But I think where it gets bad is that when you're fixating on it, when the phrase that you said, when you're a slave to it, where like everything you're doing in your life is to do with these things, and you don't feel like you have any freedom because you're just doing, I just need to focus on this, as opposed to just like enjoying life and relaxing.
How do you avoid being a slave to anything within this world?
How do you avoid? I don't think you can avoid it.
I'm a slave to one thing and one thing only, and that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Do you think it's a good thing?
Yeah, 100%. It's again, you got to just choose: are you a slave to your desires or you're a slave to your creator? Yeah.
Do you think everyone who isn't a slave to God is a slave to their desires?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't like, yeah, because I'm not that they don't live heedless lives or not, but what else could you be a slave to? What else motivates you?
Things like money or...
Yeah, no, but that's still, again, that's your desires. You want money, you want these things, and the way you get in this world is through money.
What's the favourite thing that money gets you?
It's a good question. It's not beer anymore. It's probably protein powder.
You're in the gym?
Yep.
Yeah?
4 times a week.
Why was beer your old favourite thing that money bought?
Oh, I used to hang around with people who used to drink a lot. I don't really drink anymore. I probably drink once a month. I stopped enjoying it about 5 years ago.
Why do you still do it once a month?
Well, you should treat yourself.
Would you say that most people are slaves to their desires?
Yeah.
You would do?
Yeah.
And so does that mean you're a slave to yours then?
Partially, yeah. I could say so, yeah.
But you don't desire partying, girls, none of that?
Well, I've got a girlfriend, but I don't party.
Okay, cool. How comes you don't... normally, people go to uni, they'll desire these things.
Before I was with her, I didn't really party either.
So then what do you desire?
My work, like what I strive to do in the future.
Okay, cool. And is that as in being a physio, having your own practice, or?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Why? Why has this always been a thing for you?
I'll say it came to a thing like when I was in 6th form.
Yeah.
But it's just the goal I want to reach because, I mean, at the end of the day, trying to make money. I don't really care too much of the partying aspect to it. I just want to...
You just want to make money and fix people. That's what you want to do.
That's the one.
So would you say you have a set of morals then?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess.
Religious or no?
No.
Not religious. Okay, so if I was to ask you to define your morals in a sentence, how would you define it?
Morals in a sentence?
Yeah.
Work.
Are you atheist, agnostic? Where would you lie?
So what's it where you believe in a God, but...
Okay, so that's agnostic. So there's
Yeah.
the idea that
Yeah.
there's a God, but religion you're not really too ascribed to. Okay, cool. So then would you say that people without a religion, would you say that they're lost or no?
No.
No. So then what guides them?
Well, like you said, kind of like their morals, just like whatever they believe in.
What would you say is the most dangerous thing within this world?
Most dangerous things in this world, people who live through their desires.
What makes you say that?
I mean, at this point, then it makes everything, what's the word? Subjective. Like there's no rules, there's no consistency. Anything goes realistically, and you have situations around the world where people are getting oppressed or, they're getting exploited. So that's due to people living through their desires. What they want.
Do you think
Yeah.
we'll make ourselves go extinct?
Yeah, I mean, the current geopolitical kind of landscape, it's looking like it's getting closer than it's ever been before. Yeah. Tough one to put your finger on, I guess.
And also one more thing as well, I feel like because people live through their desires, the way life has been set up is not fair. So not everyone actually gets to express and actually gets to get what they want just because they want it. So only a certain few can get it.
What's your favourite thing to do in the entire world?
So my favourite thing was going out in towers.
Alton Towers.
When I'm with Ikaman, 13.
Who's your favourite player?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo? Yeah? Did well. What's your name?
Louis.
Louis. Well done. Bro, I accidentally said his name in his accent. Thank you for your time, Kieran.
No, that's
Wa alaikum assalam.